Imagine building one of the most iconic makeup brands in the world, having your products sell out in minutes, being valued at over $1 billion, and then suddenly filing for bankruptcy. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the current ongoing situation with Pat McGrath Labs. I did a video similar to this about Beauty Bay, and you guys seem to really like that, so we are doing the same now, talking about Pat McGrath, what this actually means for the business, and whether Pat McGrath are going to close, whether they're going to stay open, and just a few things about that and how everything works. My basic credentials are that I am doing a degree in business management, so I have a rough idea of how this works. I am by no means an expert, and a lot of this information I have gotten from sources which I will link down below. I do also own my own business, so some of this is things I've learned throughout starting my small business with my partner, which I will also have our website down below for you guys. Let's get into it, let's talk, and yeah, let's chat about what's going on. So, before we get into all of the drama, we need to talk about Pat McGrath herself, because she isn't just some random beauty brand founder, not at all in the slightest. She is actually widely considered as one of the most influential beauty makeup artists, like, in the world. She's worked on countless runway shows, editorial shoots, and campaigns for major fashion houses. Her work basically has shaped the modern high fashion makeup market, and in 2015 she launched her own brand, Pat McGrath Labs. And it immediately stood out from anything else in the space. The packaging was luxurious, the formulations were marketed as revolutionary, and the launch was incredibly exclusive. Products were selling out literally in minutes, and people were refreshing their screens trying to get their hands on the Pat McGrath palettes. So by 2018, the brand had become a massive success. Investors valued Pat McGrath Labs at over $1 billion, officially making it what's known as a unicorn company. At the time, this was absolutely huge. Not many beauty brands had reached that level of valuation, and the brand positioned itself as luxury makeup. So the palettes would cost like over £100. Lipsticks were between 30 and 40-ish pound, and people were willing to pay that because the brand had this reputation for innovation and prestige, right? Influencers were loving it, makeup artists were loving it, and every launch felt like a massive event, and everyone was so excited, and they were just loving Pat McGrath Labs. But behind the scenes, things were apparently getting a little bit more complicated than were ideal. Recently, the news broke that Pat McGrath Labs has filed for something called a Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. So when people hear the words bankruptcy, they immediately think that a company is shutting down, but that is not actually exactly what the word means. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is basically a financial restructuring process for a business, and essentially allows a company to keep operating while it is reorganizing its debts and finances. Reports say that the company had tens of millions of dollars in liabilities, which, if you don't know what liabilities are, is basically things they owe, anything that goes in a negative balance for the company, which has obviously shocked a lot of people considering how huge the brand once was. There have also been reports about potential investors who have stepped in and are trying to restructure the company to basically make everything work out and try and bring Pat McGrath back to what it originally was. So the big question is, how does a luxury beauty brand with so much hype end up here? There are a few theories that people are discussing, so we're going to delve into them a little bit. First is that the luxury beauty market has changed massively over recent years, and consumers are becoming a lot more price conscious, which is definitely a thing that I have noticed myself. I mean, I myself am a lot more price conscious with the products that I choose to purchase and things like that, so I can definitely see that being a problem. When palettes cost like £120 or more, people start asking if it's really worth their money. Another factor is definitely their competition. So brands like Fenty Beauty and Rare Beauty are exploding in popularity, and they often offer high quality products, but at a slightly more affordable price, and it's more accessible for people. Whereas Pat McGrath Labs obviously is not the most accessible brand in terms of like pricing wise. So, you know. And they also dominate social media in a way that the older luxury brands just aren't really getting in on. It's something that they struggle with. So, another issue that people point out is the launch strategy of Pat McGrath's. Pat McGrath Labs often relies on limited drops and hype marketing, which worked incredibly well in the beginning. But over time, the beauty industry became oversaturated with new brands and viral products. Since the news broke, the internet has had a lot to say. Some people are genuinely sad because Pat McGrath is such a respected figure in the makeup world, and others are saying that this shows that the luxury beauty bubble might be bursting. On TikTok, some creators are saying that the products were always too expensive, and others are defending the brand and saying the formulas are still some of the best that are available on the market. So there is definitely a major divide, and honestly, this conversation is bigger than just one brand. It raises a question about where the beauty industry is heading, and are consumers still willing to pay luxury prices for makeup? I'm not sure. Personally, I think that Pat McGrath Labs will always have an incredibly special place in beauty history. The influence of Pat McGrath herself as an artist is undeniable, but the market has changed so much in recent years. People are now expecting innovation, accessibility, and viral social media moments. And brands that adapt quickly to those trends are the ones that are currently thriving. That being said, filing a Chapter 11 doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the brand. It could just mean that they are restructuring and coming back a lot stronger. But I'm really curious what you guys think. Do you think that Pat McGrath Labs are going to recover from this? Do you think that luxury brands are starting to struggle in today's market? So let me know down in the comments below. And obviously, as always, if you guys want more content like this one, more beauty industry deep dives, and also like more, I love doing true crime content. I also really enjoy anything drama-y. Please let me know down below. And make sure you subscribe because the beauty world is currently full of drama and your girl is dying to talk about it just for you. So exciting. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.